Swinging right back in 50 years ago to Billboard's Hot 100 of July 15th, 1967. Boy, I got a Lost 45, a true jam for you. Well, they're all true jams, but still. This really brings back some memories. The River is Wide by The Forum, the original version of The River is Wide that was later covered by Bobby Rodell and the Grassroots. The Grassroots had the hit with it. But I'll get into that in just a minute. The Forum and on Billboard's Hot 100 July 15th, 1967 is at number 64, up 24 from 88 the previous week, but it did not make top 40. Ultimately, The Forum. This was a project. It was a studio project that was engineered by Les Baxter. Les Baxter, the big band arranger and composer back in the 40s, later became a composer and arranger with Capitol Records in 1950. In the early 50s, he conducted the orchestra in Mona Lisa and another one by Nat King Cole. I can't remember the other song he did by Nat King Cole that he orchestrated, Too Young, all in the early 50s, and he had his own hit records. Him and his orchestra had their own hit records in the mid-50s. The Poor People of Paris, massive hit back in 1956. Around 1960, maybe, well, actually a little bit later than that, maybe getting towards the mid-60s, Les Baxter, he formed a band called the Balladeers, a folk band, a conservative folk band. These guys, they wore suits. The members of the band wore suits. Respectable looking band. Guess who was in the early incarnation of that band? David Crosby, who later joined the Byrds and then became Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I mean, it's funny how these things work out. And later on, they evolved into the Forum. 3 people from the Balladeers became members of the Forum, which was formed also by Les Baxter, and their names were Phil Campus, Rizal Bain, I take that back, Reset Bain, and Renee Noel, N-O-L-E. I'm probably mangling their names, but I'm getting it as close to correct pronunciation as I can. Reset Bain and Renee Noel and Phil Campus, members of the Forum. The Forum released the song The River is Wide. It was off the Penthouse record label in 1966. Didn't do anything. Then the song was re-edited and remastered, and it was re-released off the Myra record label, M-I-R-A. The Myra record label still didn't do anything. Then Decca Records got a hold of the master, and they put it out. Started to show a little bit of action in the UK, a little bit of movement in the UK. Over here, a Seattle DJ, here in the States, a Seattle DJ took a fancy to the record, started playing it on the radio station on his radio show. Song started to pick up in Seattle, picked up a little momentum here in the States, but only got as high as 45. Let me bring that up for you real quick. The River is Wide peaked at number 45. Summer of 67. It was on Billboard's Hot 100 though for 2 months, later covered by Bobby Rodell, and the Grassroots had a bigger hit with it in the summer of 69. But even the Grassroots had a Lost 45 with that record. Or let me rephrase it. The Grassroots version of The River is Wide is also a Lost 45, peaked at number 31. But here's this great wall of sound. I love the orchestration. This is skillful orchestration as engineered by Les Baxter, and then you got this lovely piano that just really just decorates the melody of this record. And then that wall of sound picks up again. It is obvious that Les Baxter picked up a little bit of ideas from Phil Spector, which shows that he was a pretty flexible guy. Well, this is the Forum. Excuse me, The River is Wide. It's at number 64 on Billboard's Hot 100 of July 15th, 1967.